Yeah.
You just said it a moment ago. It's a parent and you're a parent. I'm a parent, and
Mm,
something I didn't know until recently confirmed, but we are both parents of special needs children.
mm,
Which is so that's we've got three things now that I want to kind of pick apart for people. And this was one thing that I actually put in the tags of the video and out on stream that we were going to talk about this. Because it's not often that I'm able to talk to someone else who kind of shares in that space. And so even when we talked yesterday, it was very easy to get going, in a conversation. And I want to talk about the three strains, okay? There's streaming in general, all that comes with.
hmm
Then there's streaming as a parent, regardless. Let's just start on that level for a moment. Just when you are a parent streamer, what are the biggest struggles, biggest strains that you face, that you would face regardless of whether your kids have special needs or not? Like, what is the toughest battle you fight being a streaming parent?
I think, and I'm sure everybody can attest to it because there are, so many of us, I think, in the same situation. If we're just saying as a parent, straight up is schedule. I mean, because
Mm-hmm.
if you are going to stream, while your kids are, which I'm just never going to really do while my kids are awake, needing my attention or during my dad time, unless it is a specially scheduled thing and there's something else. I'm always going to be a dad first, and then a streamer will come after that.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's always been scheduling. For a long time there, when my kids were younger and they were getting to bed earlier, I was streaming earlier and ending earlier. And now the struggle is I have to start a little later and I stream a little later. And
Yeah.
so for me, it's just my energy levels throughout all day and in the stream is just trying to find a way to keep those fresh when
Yeah.
you finish work and then you finish second work, which is being a dad. And
Mm-hmm.
then, after all of that is done, when your body's usually like, all right, let's bring it down. You're like, let's kick it up. We have to,
Yeah.
we have to find that quick adrenaline rush. That's like, we're going live, even though I have finished my day. Let's start round four, and
Yeah.
get right back into it. That's the biggest struggle for me. And sometimes it is, and I'm sure you feel this too. The second you're done with work, you have, the dad mode is way different than, your work mode and
Yes.
your
Yes.
family.
I
Yeah,
care about dad mode. Work mode,
exactly.
not so much.
Yeah, work mode can suck it, but dad mode is a real thing that the second you're done,
Yeah.
they want dad mode, and
Often
it's in you,
I mean,
but
I work from home. Sometimes it's before I'm done too. Like they get home from school
yep,
and Daddy, are you still working? Like, yeah, man. That's how it
yep.
goes. But
It's
sorry.
tough. Yeah. No, you're absolutely. Please jump in. It's one of those things that's like as far as, dad mode goes, it is a purely different energy than work mode. It's a purely different energy than streamer mode, and it's definitely a different energy than my down like body down mode that would be somewhere in there, but I think it's kind of gone. I don't
Mhm.
know where that part of me is anymore because even
Yeah.
on the nights I have off, I'm supporting or I'm on, the grind, as we call it, as in
Yeah.
I'm thinking about what I can be doing for the stream.
Hmm.
Um, and so my mind goes, that way. And so at least there's no mental rest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel the same thing, but as far as like being a dad and a streamer, like it doesn't affect me as far as, the content I make or, how I can be on stream, but the scheduling side of it for me has been the biggest struggle is like, can I actually tell people I'm going to be on? Like, can I promise that,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
every week, or am I going to have to like every once in a while just kind of fade away and be like, sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the guilt that comes in, will the internet
Uh-huh.
understand? Yeah,
Right.
they do. Thankfully, because again, surround yourself with the right people. To your point, the schedule is number one, and that's certainly it. Just because there's such a small slice of the pie left where it would possibly work, especially if you're in that mode. Um, Second thing for me, I think, is the mental attention that streaming starts to get when I'm not in stream mode. It
Mm,
creeps, and I start to find myself. I, I'm acutely aware of this in myself that I am obsessive. So
mm,
if I start doing something that I really love, it starts to creep into other areas that it doesn't need to be. So we're doing this and we're having fun and excited and there's momentum and we're meeting new people and all this, all of a sudden it's all I'm thinking about. It's all where my attention is going. And even though I'm physically present in dad time, and even though I'm physically present in all the, I'm taking care of the responsibilities I have to, I'm just sort of limping through these things, sort of with like this is getting in the way of what I want to do. And I had to have a real come to Jesus moment, like, no. This is what you do. This is what you signed up for that precedes all other. And once I took ownership of the fact that that was happening, then things started to be a little bit better, at least in terms of holding things in balance. I struggle with that though. It's really hard because this is invigorating. As you said, it gives energy. If you're doing this at any sort of sustained pace, it should give you energy, I would think. So naturally, I think it's natural to crave that.
You know what? I'll double down on that and just be, brutally honest. If that's what we're doing is, there was, because I've been doing this for, actually the Twitch thing since January, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a moment in there where my wife was like, are you even here? Like, do you exist with me right now? Because
Same.
I just said the same thing like 4 times. And I'm like, and we had this conversation where she was like, I feel like it, like she was, at one point, I remember this, and it was so sobering, and it has changed big time since then. But there was one time where I was hard on, again, let's say it again, because I think it should be an evil word, but the grind. And
if you're not grinding, what are you
even here, bro? If you're not grinding,
do you even grind, bro?
Do you even grind? Do you grind, bro?
No.
Dude, okay, well, really quick. I tried to grind once on a snowboard, and I hurt myself bad. And it was
sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. I gagged too, just because you did. I have that empathy gag. I got one of those.
Okay.
Yeah. No. She said to me one time. It was during this, like, I was still setting up the studio and buying things for it. So every night I was down there fiddling with stuff. And when I wasn't streaming, I was improving the stream and working on it. And she was like, I feel like we live together, but that's it. And I was like, and I had to go back and really hit myself in the gut and be like, stop it. Like this, all of this, none of this should ever be as important to you as your family and your wife and your kids. And ever since that moment, there's going to be a lot of times where, I'll still do all of my duties as a mod, and I love to hang out with all of my friends and everything on as much as I can. But I have a lot more respect for her time and our time together. Yes. And when I'm with my kids, there's a lot more setting the phone down and a lot more of that little exclamation point lurk going on than there ever used to be. And, I think that a lot of us have had the conversations. I think our friend Initial D has been very good about saying, he's like, support is support. He's like, y'all need to get off your high horses and stop judging people for supporting the way they can support. And I didn't take that to myself for a long time. I was like, yeah, he's talking to all you people out there that can't support all the time. I'm going to be over here 24/7 supporting. And that was a big shift for me. It had to change, and it did. I'll be honest, I still stay up till 3 a.m. supporting people when I should be sleeping, but I have too much fun seeing people, do their thing and play games that I wish I were playing. Something's wrong with me.
What's the matter with you?
I'm a broken man. Put me back together. And so, it's one of those things that I think, look at what you're doing. If it really is cutting into your, time, if you're not making memories because you're killing your short-term memory with too much anxiety about being present everywhere, please please take a step back. It's okay to support at a minimum capacity, to support your family at maximum capacity. That should always be your priority, and that's what it's going to be from now on. And I still, a lot of people won't see me if I'm not in your stream. Just this last week, I spent probably 6 to 8 hours tech supporting people's streams, just through Discord DMs and private calls and stuff. You can still help people out without being in their streams, but then you're less visible and people think you're not out there supporting. It's a really tough balance. It really is. People are like, where were you? You weren't in my stream. I was like, bro, this other guy, his computer went out. I helped him diagnose his motherboard being bad and his power supply. We got him a replacement. Now his computer's working. Can you excuse me for a night to help somebody with their crisis? And it's really tough, once you're in charge or a mod or something and people expect a certain presence of you to keep that up is exhausting. You know what I mean?
Man.
Yeah.
You know what? I learned a great word that helped me. No. Revolutionary. You ever try saying it? It's wonderful.
I don't know that word.
It's great.
I wish I did.
It's great. You want to go somewhere?
Say it again? No, wait. Say it
no.
Can I get the can I get the Latin of how
Latin for no is no.
No.
Comes from the Latin word no, which means hell no. And it's, I mean, but we don't set our own boundaries out of this sort of, I don't know, this guilt, this sort of, this feeling of owing something, I guess. I don't know where it comes from in me, but like, or maybe we're in that mode again of like, this is support that's going to pay off in the end. It's the grind. I don't know. There are these like subconscious sort of reasons for it, but same thing. I found myself, I do the thing I've told my chat many times that I have conversations with myself and I argue with myself with people that haven't argued with me, but they're making the point in my head and I'm like, how dare you say that to me? And I have this argument with myself. And I've done that around supporting things and supporting people. Like, yeah, they're saying things to me and they're not even there and they have never said them, but I'm saying they're talking to me, well, why weren't you in my stream or why aren't you in that? And I'm like defending myself. I'm like, this is not a good place to be. I'm not in a good place if I'm feeling this much oppression of like I should be doing more. And that's when it really is just a vulnerable exercise. You come into close contact with all of this sort of stuff that we carry down low that never really has a chance to come out. And this platform just brings all this stuff out. When you were talking about a friend who, I can't take the pressure of this anymore. It at some level, I wonder if that experience necessarily has to be negative or whether it could be transformative of like this eye-opening sort of, well, why what was it? Oh, I was actually putting on a mask or I was actually putting on an act. I can't do that anymore. Like, I don't know. I guess my mind always goes there of like, it just reveals what's already there in us. I don't know if it changes us so much as it really brings out what's really in us. So if nothing else, the experience for me of doing this has been very enlightening to kind of see what's down in there, whether it's supporting and feeling the guilt around that or streaming itself or whatever it is. It's unlike anything I've ever done. So
yeah, well, I mean, but to the point of like roping that back into family, which is kind of like the all-seeing eye.
Yeah.
Is if your kids and your wife like don't really understand why you're not there mentally, when you're sitting there, when you're thinking about like, oh wait, my overlay, I just thought of how to do like a moving gradient in OBS. If I just go jump on that dude's YouTube, and you're like, your brain is there, but at the same time, you're having a very important discussion with your child about how their day was at school. Like,
yes.
Hey, just so you know, screw me. That's my bad.
Yeah.
Like that's nobody else's problem. That's my problem. You got to have that mental shift and focus, especially if you are a parent or guardian or even a sibling or someone that has somebody else important to you that needs your attention. Please make that your priority, because I think that even those situations, so you sit down and you actually allow yourself to have that real, genuine interaction and fulfilling conversation and like hour and a half time with your family, then you're going to be able to bring that experience and maybe that conversation or maybe that piece into your stream and change somebody else's day or maybe their life because they needed to hear that one thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's how these things happen organically, is you bring real experiences in to people that need that real experience. Otherwise, how is if we're all like formulating the same experiences for success, or if we're all just creating the same, box around us to ship and say, this is what it looks like to be, good at this, then what are we doing? Why is there more than one of us?
Exactly. Yeah. It's just, mimics and mimics and mimics. It's the Foot Clan for those TMNT lovers out there. It's the same damn person.
Foot Clan, the putties.
All right. Hey, Power Rangers